Making headlines, President urges the nation to put forth a national spirit. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum arrives back in Maldives city on conclusion of his 3-day tour of Nunu Atoll, Lawiani Atoll and Ba Atoll. And the first round of the China-Afghanistan-Pakistan Foreign Ministers dialogue begins in Beijing.
Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Fatma Zara. The President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum urges the nation to put forth a national spirit.
In his Unity Day address to the nation, President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum urged the nation to make it a necessity to put forth a national spirit. On the same context, President Yamin advised the people to recognize and accept the work being carried out for the progress and development of the nation. Extending warm greetings and good wishes to all Maldivians on the occasion, President Yamin expressed that the solidarity and unity shown by the people of Maldives in the immediate aftermath of 2004 tsunami must be remembered and practiced in the society today as well. Noting that the memories of the tragic day still evoke a bitterness and sorrow, as so many of us lost loved ones to the disaster, and the nation faced a huge amount of loss in a short time frame, causing extreme socio-economic damage to the country, President reiterated that even today we should recall the team effort put in by Maldivians to overcome the loss caused in the disaster. Furthermore, President described the solidarity, love and compassion that was displayed by Maldivians during the catastrophe as remarkable and emphasized that learning lessons from the disaster and moving ahead with solidarity was a national duty. The President extended warm greetings and good wishes to all Maldivians on the occasion and stated that the National Day of Unity is observed in remembrance of the spirit of national unity and solidarity shown by the people of Maldives in the immediate aftermath of the 2004 tsunami, which is the most tragic and the largest national calamity faced by the Maldives in recent history.
President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum arrives back in Maldives city on conclusion of his 3-day tour of Nunu Atoll, Lawiani Atoll and Ba Atoll. During his tour, President took part in ceremonies held to mark the completion of government projects and inauguration of key projects in the islands.
President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum commenced the 3-day tour of Nunu Atoll, Lawiani Atoll and Ba Atoll on Sunday. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum commenced the 3-day tour of Nunu Atoll, Lawiani Atoll and Ba Atoll on Sunday. As his first stop, President Yamin visited Marlendu Island of Nunu Atoll and inaugurated the newly built harbour and a mosque constructed by the fund provided by the government of Saudi Arabia. While addressing the community of Marlendu Island, President Abdullah Yamin assured that utmost priority of his government is given to ensure that dreams of the people are fulfilled. Expressing that this would not be the condition of Maldives if political figures worked for the development of the country, President Yamin stated that development projects can only be conducted within the framework of law. In addition, President Yamin reiterated that Maldivian people prioritizes peace and work to maintain the peace and stability in the country. President then visited Hembadu Island of Nunu Atoll and attended the groundbreaking ceremony of the development project of the sewerage system. Addressing the ceremony held at Hembadu Island of Nunu Atoll, the President urged all Maldivians to work together for the advancement of the country and stressed on the importance of creating an environment inclusive of all alike. The president stated that distinct parties would not come and work for the betterment of the state. President Yamin also highlighted the importance of creating a friendly environment which accepts everyone despite their differences and added that it can be achieved by abiding the rules and regulations. On the same day, the president also visited Holudu Island of Nunu Atoll and inaugurated the harbour. During his speech at the ceremony held to unveil the harbour memorial, President Yamin stated that it is important to note the positive impacts of development projects rather than its negative impacts. President reiterated that the government aims to develop islands at the same level as the Greater Malay region. Highlighting that no democracy is the same in every country, President affirmed that the democracy fit for the Maldives will always be put forth in conducting development projects. The last island president visited on the first day of the tour was Velidu Island of Nunu Atoll and inaugurated the harbour. Addressing the residents of Velidu Island, President Yamin stated that the residents of Velidu have always shown commitment for the betterment of the island. The president also stated that progress of any region in any country can be achieved with the collaborative effort of all citizens, adding that unity is the biggest facet of progress. President started the second day of his tour by arriving in Hinnavaru Island of Laviani Atoll. President inaugurated the clean drinking water services funded by United States Agency for International Development USAID in Hinnavaru. The water services uses 2 plants to produce 80 cubic meters of water per day. According to the Ministry of Environment and Energy, the system will supply clean water to 700 households and industrial zones in the island. The $3.8 million project to establish clean drinking water services in Hinnavaru was launched in December 2015 and completed in May 2017. Addressing the ceremony held to inaugurate the clean drinking water services, President Yamin stated that the government obtained loans to conduct development projects for the advancement of the community and thanked USAID and UNOPS for the continued support. President Yamin then arrived in Kendu Island of Ba Atoll and officially inaugurated the newly built harbour in the island. In addition, President Yamin also launched the installation project of clean drinking water services in the island. The Clean Drinking Water Services project, which is developed by Mohan Mutta Exports Private Limited, uses 2 plants to produce 1 ton of water per day. The storage tank has the capacity to store 50 tons of water. Addressing the residents of Kendu Island, President Yamin stated that Maldives has attained major developmental goals in the past 4 years and that the country strives to be a self-sufficient country. In his speech, the president emphasized the responsibility upon all leaders to deliver on their pledges made to the people. In this regard, the president reiterated the commitment attached by his administration to fulfilling the people's hopes and dreams and facilitating them a better life. The last island president visited on the second day of the tour was Edafushi Island of Ba Atoll. At a ceremony held at the harbour area of Edafushi Island, the president unveiled the memorial place to mark the completion of the land reclamation and beach protection projects. Addressing the ceremony, President Yamin stated that with the newly reclaimed land area of Edafushi, the biggest concern of the islanders has been addressed. The president assured that his administration would remain dedicated to facilitate development to the community. At the ceremony, Minister of Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim launched the project to establish a desalination plant and freshwater network in the island. The 2 reverse osmosis plants to be installed under the project is expected to produce 8 tons of water per day. In addition, the storage tank to be established in Edafushi would have the capacity to store 1,800 tons of water. On the third day, President Yamin concluded his tour after visiting Turadu Island of Ba Atoll. In his visit, President Yamin inaugurated the harbour of Turadu and attended the function held to mark the completion of beach protection project.
Secretary General of Maldivian Red Crescent Aishat Noura Mohammed reveals that Maldives has catered the largest amount of aid to Rohingya Muslims on basis of per capita population. She made the statement in an exclusive interview with PSM News after concluding her trip to Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar.
More than 600,000 people have fled Myanmar for Bangladesh after a military crackdown that began in August 25. While various countries from around the world have come forward to assist Rohingyas, Maldives has played an active part in providing assistance to the Rohingya Muslims who fled to Bangladesh. In an exclusive interview with PSM News after concluding her trip to Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar, Secretary-General of Maldivian Red Crescent, Aishat Noura Muhammad, stated that the condition of the refugees are stabilizing as aid from various agencies and countries are being provided to them. On this note, Noura highlighted that the Rohingya refugees are still in great need of appropriate shelter and healthcare facilities. Shedding light on the amount of financial aid provided by Maldives to the Rohingya refugees, Noura revealed that a total of about $500,000 in aid have been provided to the refugees and highlighted that the funds accumulated by the organization alone grosses over $493,000.
I would like to highlight what the people really want is a life of dignity, which is what through humanitarian support, what the Red Crescent family is also trying to provide wherever they are based. We were able to raise more than any other country. If we look at per capita, per head, what Maldives had raised is far beyond any other country had raised for this cause.
Secretary-General further stated that the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, IFRC, has established a field hospital, which is currently carrying out surgeries for Rohingya refugees. She revealed that the organization has to date catered aid to about 400,000 refugees in Cox's Bazar.
There was essential needs like shelter being supported, water, hygiene kits, health needs, and psychosocial support, just to name a few. And we wanted to ensure that the funds are used to the benefit of the people, and what we saw really confirmed that the support that we have given is playing a huge role in supporting the people.
Noura further stated that the organization has officially closed the fund accumulation for the Rohingya refugees, but will stay committed to assist anyone who would like to provide aid to the Rohingya refugees. Unity is the biggest aspect which carries a nation forward. And as we celebrate the National Unity Day, we all should join hands to help the people in need in both international and regional arena. From the headquarters of Maldivian Red Crescent, Ismail Azim, PSM News.
Bank of Maldives continues to scale up its presence in Hulumale with the introduction of a new self-service banking ATM located at a Treetop Hospital.
In addition to the usual cash withdrawal facilities, the new ATM will support local individuals and businesses to deposit and transfer money on a 24/7 basis. It is part of the bank's $20 million investment program to expand banking services and financial inclusion across the country. BML Deputy CEO and Director of Operations Mohammed Sharif said the bank is delighted to support the community in Hulumale with this new self-service banking ATM. He noted that the location is particularly fitting given that the bank supported the financing of Treetop Hospital. Hulumale is continuing to develop rapidly as a residential, commercial and the industrial hub in Maldives, and BML plans to open more ATMs and a new business center to increase support for local families and businesses. With a nationwide network of 34 branches across all 20 atolls, Bank of Maldives now has a nationwide network of 34 branches across all 20 atolls, 33 self-service banking centers, 92 ATMs, 4,900 point-of-sale merchants and 205 agents, and a full suite of digital banking services.
China's Ministry of Commerce calls for the promotion of service trade during a meeting while reviewing its work in the past year.
China's service export grew faster than import for the first time over the past 7 years, and efforts should be made to further the development of trade in services. Over the past 10 years, China's trade in services increased 9.9%. Exports of trade in services grew 10.9%, while imports expanded 9.4%. It is the first time that export increase rate surpassed that of imports in the past 7 years. In the future, China's trade in services is expected to center around development. Officials also laid out the focal points in transforming the nation's business landscape at the meeting. The ministry stressed that consumption is a fundamental force in China's economic development. Internationally, China will enhance its competitiveness in foreign trade and boost inbound and outbound investments.
Looking at news from international arena, the first round of China, Afghanistan, Pakistan foreign ministers dialogue begins in Beijing.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and his Afghan counterpart Salahuddin Rabbani, as well as Pakistani counterpart Khawaja Muhammad Asif, attended the dialogue. The three sides have exchanged ideas on several topics, including political trust and reconciliation, development cooperation and counter-terrorism. The dialogue mechanism was set up when Wang Yi visited Afghanistan and Pakistan in June. China hopes to improve Afghanistan-Pakistan relations while enhancing trilateral cooperation through the dialogue. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi expressed optimism about the outcome of the dialogue, which is part of Chinese President Xi Jinping's initiative for strengthening of relations and developing cooperation between the three countries. Foreign Minister Khawaja Asif, who represented Pakistan at the forum, emphasized that peace is the collective goal of the three neighborly nations. He said peace and development are in the interest of all the three countries.
China calls for all countries to make constructive efforts to ease tension after North Korea said the latest United Nations sanctions are an act of war and tantamount to a complete economic blockade.
The United Nations Security Council unanimously imposed new sanctions on North Korea on Friday for its recent intercontinental ballistic missile test, seeking to limit its access to refined petroleum products and crude oil and its earnings from workers abroad. The U.S. drafted resolution also caps crude oil supplies to North Korea at 4 million barrels a year and commits the Council to further reductions if it were to conduct another nuclear test or launch another intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM. North Korea on Sunday rejected the resolution, calling it an act of war. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman said the resolution has appropriately strengthened sanction measures on North Korea. Hang Chung-ying said it emphasizes that it should not have detrimental humanitarian impact on ordinary North Korean people and should not affect normal economic exchanges and cooperation, food aid and humanitarian aid.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says that China will shoulder more international responsibilities and make new contribution to the development of mankind. Wang made the remarks at an exclusive interview with China Central Television when summarizing the work of his ministry in 2017.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said that the 19th National Congress of the Communist Party of China (CPC) has made a top-level strategy for China's diplomatic work in the new era. Wang Yi said the report delivered by General Secretary Xi Jinping to the 19th CPC National Congress has pointed out that the major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics aims to foster a new type of international relations and to build a community with a shared future for mankind. Wang noted that to foster a new type of international relations and build a community with a shared future for mankind is the development and innovation of China's peaceful development and a connection and intersection of the Chinese dream and the world dreams. Wang added that it is a cohesion of the largest common interest of the countries in the world, contains the common values of the human society and has become a distinct symbol of the major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics in the new era. Wang said that as the biggest developing country in the world, China's diplomatic work is designated to provide a better external environment and more external support for the modernization of the country, which has more than 1.3 billion population. Meanwhile, Wang said China should shoulder more related international responsibilities so as to make new contributions to the development of mankind. Wang reiterated that China's diplomacy will better serve the national development, adhere to the people-centered approach, explore and build the country's security system overseas. Noting that China will deeply involve in global governance and guide the rebalance of the economic globalization to be more inclusive and common beneficial for all, he said that China will implement the outcomes of the Belt and Road Forum and fully carry out the Belt and Road construction.
Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni states that he would propose to Parliament transferring some of the country's troops stationed in Iraq to Niger to fight people smuggling and terrorism.
Italian Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni said Italy's 1,400-strong military presence in Iraq could now be reduced after victories against IS militants and instead deployed in the Sahel region of West Africa. He was speaking about the Italian ship Etna used in the European Union's Sophia operation to counter people smuggling in the Mediterranean. He did not specify the amount of troops that would be sent to Niger. Newspaper Il Fatto Quotidiano wrote on Sunday that the contingent would be at least 470 as part of a commitment made to French President Emmanuel Macron. Macron has thrown his weight behind a French-backed West African force known as the G5 Sahel, which includes the armies of Mali, Mauritania, Niger, Burkina Faso and Chad, which was set up in October to tackle IS militants. The Italian parliament is expected to be formally dissolved by the end of this year, ahead of March elections, but it will continue to meet for ordinary administration and could approve Gentiloni's request for the transfer of military personnel.
Guatemalan President Jaime Morales draws praise from Israeli officials for deciding to relocate the Central American country's embassy to Jerusalem, a move in step with U.S. policy in a dispute over the city's status.
In a short post on his official Facebook account on Sunday, Morales said he had decided to move the embassy from Herzliya near the city of Tel Aviv after talking to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. U.S. President Donald Trump recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel on December 6th, reversing decades of U.S. policy and upsetting the Arab world and Western allies. On Thursday, 128 countries defied Trump by backing a non-binding United Nations General Assembly resolution calling on the United States to drop its recognition of Jerusalem. Guatemala and neighboring Honduras were two of only a handful of countries to join Israel and the United States, which has pledged to move its embassy to Jerusalem in voting against the United Nations resolution. Israel's ambassador to Guatemala, Meti Cohen, said on Army radio that no date had been set for the embassy move, but it will happen after the United States relocates its own embassy to Jerusalem. U.S. officials have said that move could take at least 2 years. The United States is an important source of assistance to Guatemala and Honduras, and Trump had threatened to cut off financial aid to countries that supported the United Nations resolution. The status of Jerusalem is one of the thorniest obstacles to an Israeli-Palestinian peace deal. Palestinians want East Jerusalem as the capital of a state they want to establish in the occupied West Bank and in the Gaza Strip. The international community does not recognize Israeli sovereignty over the entire city, which is the home to sites holy to the Muslim, Jewish and Christian religions.
Russian Deputy Prime Minister in charge of the 2018 World Cup, Vitaly Klitschko, says that he's stepping down from his post as the head of the country's football union for 6 months.
Speaking at the news conference in Moscow, Vitaly Mutko said he had asked the executive board to suspend him temporarily as he will be busy with court proceedings. Mutko said he has decided to file a claim at the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS). Earlier in December, he was barred from any involvement with future Olympic Games by the International Olympic Committee (IOC). Mutko was the country's sport minister at the time of the Sochi Games, during which the IOS found evidence of an unprecedented systematic manipulation of the anti-doping system. After announcing that the Russian Olympic Committee (ROC) is suspended from the IOC with immediate effect, the IOC also announced it would not accredit any official from the Russian Ministry of Sport for the Olympic Winter Games Pyeongchang 2018, which begin in February. It also excluded the then Ministry of Sport, Vitaly Mutko. Russia has been banned from the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, and athletes from Russia who are cleared to compete will have to take part under the neutral flag.
China launches a set of remote sensing satellites into space from the Xichang Satellite Launch Center in southwest China's Sichuan province.
The rocket used to propel the satellites was the Long March 2C carrier, which marked the 260th mission using rockets in the Long March series. The satellites were able to effectively enter their preset orbit, and the launch was proclaimed a resounding success. As the third batch of the Yaogan 30 project, the satellites will conduct electromagnetic environmental probes and perform other experiments as well.
Actress Heather Menzies-Ulrich, best known for portraying Louisa Von Trapp in the 1965 film The Sound of Music, dies at the age of 68.
According to her son, Ryan Ulrich, the widow of actor Robert Ulrich had been recently diagnosed with cancer. Entertainment magazine Variety reported that the actress died surrounded by her children and family members. Born in Toronto, Menzies-Ulrich's first screen credit came in the TV series The Farmer's Daughter in 1964. She was 15 when she was cast as the eldest of the 7 Von Trapp children in The Sound of Music, a box office smash that went on to win 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture.
With that, that's it for now. Stay tuned for more updates of recent current affairs stories here on PSM News. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح